Hello there, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Let's tap into the energy around your connection and the person you're focused on and see what Spirit wants to reveal today. As always, keep what resonates with your heart and release anything that isn't meant for you. All right, Cancer, let's get into your reading. So, the message coming in strong today is this: I do not know what you did. I do not know what you did to this person, but they want no one else but you. Let us see what the cards are showing today, because this energy is undeniable and very real. Something about your presence, your natural essence, has completely overtaken this person at their deepest core. They are not glancing anywhere else. They are not entertaining the thought of another soul right now. The way you made them feel has carved an imprint, one that absolutely nothing can ever erase. Whatever you carry inside of you, it has reached them on a level they simply cannot articulate. You did not chase. You did not prove a thing. And still they gravitate entirely toward you. The pull they feel toward you defies logic. It moves beyond reason and sits permanently inside their chest. This connection they hold for you lingers in their thoughts. It occupies the quietest corners of their mind. No amount of distance or silence has diminished what they hold for you, and that speaks incredible volumes. This person did not plan to feel this deeply, but your energy left them with absolutely no choice. Their mind keeps drifting back to you. Their focus narrows to your presence, and nothing else competes. The first card I have for you is the Emperor, and this confirms their complete and total devotion. The Emperor says that this person has reached a firm decision, and that decision centers entirely around you. They are not wavering. They have chosen you with total certainty and a grounded, unwavering sense of knowing. This is not a fleeting fascination. This is a deliberate and powerful commitment taking root inside of them. The Emperor reveals authority in love, and this person has claimed you as their one undeniable priority. Their loyalty toward you runs deep. It is not performative. It is rooted in genuine reverence for you. You represent stability to them. You represent something they have searched for across their entire emotional life. This card does not show up lightly. It arrives when a person has fully surrendered their whole heart. Nothing about their devotion is uncertain. Nothing about their commitment to you carries any hesitation at all. The next card coming through is the Two of Cups, and this only intensifies what we already see. This card mirrors a bond that transcends surface attraction beyond anything purely physical or temporarily satisfying. This person yearns for emotional closeness with you. They long for a rare and sacred intimacy only you offer. Nobody else has matched what you bring. And deep within, they already recognize that with absolute full clarity. Their heart gravitates toward yours. Their soul leans into everything you embody in their emotional and spiritual world. The Two of Cups reveals a mutual recognition, a frequency that only the two of you truly share. They feel completely seen by you in ways no other person has managed to replicate or fully understand. The intimacy they long for is not surface level. It is layered, reaching into the depths of their being. Then we have the Knight of Wands, and this confirms their devotion for you burns with tender intensity. The Knight of Wands carries a steady flame, and that flame is aimed entirely and exclusively in your precise direction. This person feels a consuming pull toward you, one they cannot shake, no matter what they ever try. Their longing is overwhelming, their attention locked on you, focused and overpowering in the most devoted of ways. Every fiber of their wanting leads right back to you, and no distraction will ever alter that reality. This devotion they carry is not temporary. It is woven permanently into the fabric of who they are. What these three cards confirm together is a connection holding undeniable, raw, and genuine force of attraction. You have stirred something permanent inside of them, something that refuses to fade or be replaced by another. You are the one they keep choosing over and over, and that devotion only continues to deepen further. This message rings true because the cards reflect devotion, emotional depth, and deep longing pointed only at you. They chose you above every alternative, and nothing on this earth is capable of pulling their focus away. The energy surrounding you today is as undeniable, as powerful, and as real as it possibly gets. Now, the energy shifting into your side of this reading reveals everything about where you currently stand. You have been carrying a weight on your heart, one you have not been able to fully release. Coming close, because this part of the reading focuses entirely on what you are feeling inside. There is a tension between what you want and what you allow yourself to truly believe right now. Your thoughts have been incredibly loud lately, your mind racing between hope and doubt without any resolution. You keep asking yourself if what you feel is valid, if your own intuition can be fully trusted. Part of you already knows the answer, but fear has been whispering louder than your own heart. That quiet ache inside of you is not weakness. It is the sound of a deeply feeling soul. You have been guarding yourself, building walls, not from anger, but from a raw need for protection. The exhaustion you carry is not physical. It comes from overthinking every possible scenario inside your head. As a water sign ruled by the moon, your emotional currents run deeper than most can grasp, and that depth is precisely why this weight has settled so heavily within you. The first card reflecting your energy is the Nine of Swords, and this validates what you have endured. The Nine of Swords shows a mind that refuses rest. Thoughts that circle endlessly, never quieting down. You have lost sleep over this, replaying every moment and conversation until they blurred into something unrecognizable. The anxiety in your chest is not irrational. It is the byproduct of caring far more than most. This card confirms your worry has become a companion, one that follows you into every waking moment. Every midnight thought, every restless hour has been a quiet reflection of how deeply your soul invests. You are exhausted from trying to decode what is happening, from searching for clarity that keeps fading. The emotional toll of uncertainty has weighed on your confidence, making you question your own inner worth. Your heart wants permission to trust again. Your spirit longs for relief from the constant noise within you. The Nine of Swords does not punish you. It acknowledges the silent struggle you have carried from within. The next card here is the Star, and this brings a completely different frequency into your landscape. The Star arrives as reassurance, as light breaking through the darkness, confirming your hope is not misplaced. Even through all the doubt, a part of you has never stopped believing something beautiful still awaits. That flicker of faith you hold on to, even when everything feels uncertain, that remains your truest gift. The Star says you are healing slowly and quietly, even when it does not feel like real progress. Your vulnerability is not a flaw. It is the very thing that makes your emotional capacity so immense. You deserve to exhale, to release the need to control every outcome and just trust what exists. This card reminds you the universe has not forgotten you. Your prayers have been heard and acknowledged. Your patience through pain is extraordinary. Your ability to remain open despite every wound proves rare strength. The Star confirms that renewal is already active within you, even beneath the heavy layers of doubt. Then we have the Queen of Cups, and this card reflects the emotional depth that truly defines you. The Queen of Cups carries Cancer's natural moon-ruled water energy, the same lunar frequency that flows through your own intuitive heart, making her arrival here particularly significant. The Queen of Cups mirrors your intuitive nature, your ability to feel everything, even what stays unspoken. You absorb emotions like water absorbs light completely and without resistance. And that gift carries a cost. Your sensitivity is immense. Your capacity to understand others far exceeds what most people could ever comprehend. The Queen of Cups confirms you lead with your heart. Even when your mind begs you to retreat, you give more than you receive. You pour into connections with a generosity that often drains your cup. You have held on through storms that would have shattered others. And still your light refuses to dim. Your emotional intelligence is unmatched. Your awareness of subtle shifts in energy is sharper than you realize. What these cards reveal about you is a soul caught between longing and self-preservation, between two forces. You are not broken. You are processing. And that process deserves patience, compassion, and grace from yourself. Your heart has not hardened, your capacity for devotion remains intact, and that is truly remarkable about you. You stand at the edge of transformation, and everything you feel in this moment is preparing your soul. Okay, now we move into their side of this reading, and their emotional world runs incredibly deep. This part focuses entirely on what they carry inside their fears and their unresolved inner conflict. Let us go deeper into this because the cards paint a very specific portrait of their current state. A heaviness sits inside of them, one they have not shared with anyone, not even with themselves. Their emotions have been tangled for a long time, wrapped in layers of fear and unspoken pain. On the surface, they may appear composed, but underneath that exterior lives a quiet storm they cannot calm. They feel more than they will ever admit, and that intensity has become both their burden and truth. The walls they constructed are not made from indifference. They are built from wounds they never healed. Their silence is not absence of emotion. It is an overflow compressed into something they can manage. Every thought they suppress only grows louder. Every feeling they bury roots itself deeper inside them. The weight of suppressed emotion has altered their daily rhythm. It colors every interaction and every thought. The first card on their side is the moon, and this confirms deep internal confusion within them. The moon says clarity has been eluding them. Their own emotions feel foreign and impossible to name. They are lost inside their own feelings, wandering through emotional fog, unable to find solid ground. The moon reveals a tender concern about vulnerability, a fear of being exposed for everything they truly feel. Their subconscious holds truths that their waking mind at its core is not brave enough to confront. Illusions have clouded their judgment. Past pain has distorted how they interpret what is truly real. They second guess their own heart constantly, wondering if what they feel is safe enough to surrender. The moon confirms their emotional landscape is shadowed, not because feelings are wrong, but because they move them deeply. A part of them already knows what they want, but admitting it makes them feel completely vulnerable. The next card arriving is the Six of Cups, and this adds a deeply nostalgic layer to everything. The Six of Cups shows memories of this connection lingering with them, replaying in quiet, unexpected moments. They find themselves remembering specific details, small gestures, and words that most would have long forgotten. The nostalgia they carry is not casual. It is emotionally charged and woven into their daily existence. Their heart holds on to the past not from desperation, but because those moments genuinely transformed who they became. The Six of Cups confirms an emotional attachment rooted in something pure, existing before any complication arose. They associate this connection with innocence, with a version of themselves that felt safest and most alive. No matter how much time passes, those memories refuse to fade. They remain vivid and potent inside. The emotional residue of shared history clings to them, impossible to wash clean no matter what they try. Their sentimentality runs deeper than anyone would suspect, and it fuels an ache that never fully leaves. Then we have the King of Pentacles, and this reveals emotional maturity forming beneath all the chaos. The King of Pentacles shows that beneath the confusion, a quiet desire to build something lasting exists. Their feelings are not reckless. They carry weight and substance grounded in longing for genuine emotional security. This card confirms they long for permanence. They want something that endures beyond temporary passion or fleeting highs. The King of Pentacles reveals a protectiveness over what they feel, a reluctance to treat this carelessly. Their emotional investment is substantial. They have poured more of themselves into this than outsiders realize. They guard this connection like something precious, something irreplaceable, because to them that is what it represents. What they feel cannot be minimized or dismissed. It demands to be honored and eventually given a voice. What these cards confirm about their inner world is a meeting of fear, nostalgia, and tender devotion. They are caught between what they feel and what they think they deserve, between surrender and protection. Their heart is full, their emotions consuming, An unspoken truth presses against them every single passing day. Nothing about what they feel is shallow. It lives in the depths of who they truly are inside. The depth of their emotional world is staggering, and the cards confirm they carry more than they reveal. Now, we shift into what this person is about to do, and the movement here is undeniable. This part is about action, decisions that are forming, and steps that are about to be taken. Let us go ahead and dive into this because the cards reveal a clear direction unfolding ahead. They have reached a tipping point, a threshold where staying still is no longer an acceptable option. A decision has been brewing inside of them, and the pressure to act is building every single day. They are no longer content with distance, no longer willing to let this connection sit in silence. The hesitation that once held them frozen is rapidly dissolving, replaced by a fresh new sense of determination. Something has shifted in their resolve. A switch has flipped, and there is no turning back from it. They are actively preparing themselves mentally, rehearsing conversations and scenarios before making their very first move. The version of them that waited from a distance is fading, replaced by a readiness to step forward. Their patience has run its course, and the momentum gathering inside them demands an outlet and direction. The first card showing their next move is the Ace of Wands, confirming bold, decisive, forward energy. This card represents initiation, a spark of courage igniting inside them, pushing them toward direct action. They are done thinking in circles, done analyzing every angle without ever committing to real motion ahead. A new chapter of initiative is opening, and they intend to step into it with full, unwavering conviction. The Ace of Wands confirms a burst of motivation, the kind that transforms intention into something tangible. They are about to reach out to break through the barrier of silence that kept them at distance. Whether through a message, a call, or a physical gesture, the approach is being calculated and finalized. This is not impulsive energy. This is deliberate and purposeful. They have weighed every possible outcome already. Their timing is being chosen with care. They want the moment to land with both precision and impact. This card confirms without question that they are gathering courage to initiate a pivotal conversation ahead. No more waiting on the sidelines. No more hoping the situation resolves. They are choosing to intervene directly. They have already begun shifting their behavior, making subtle adjustments that signal their intent to move forward. The groundwork for their approach has been laid, each detail thought through before a single word is spoken. The next card confirming their action is the Chariot, doubling down on momentum and determined forward drive. The Chariot is one of the strongest movement cards in tarot, confirming that they are actively pushing ahead. This person has locked in their decision, and the Chariot says they refuse to be pulled backward. Now, the Chariot confirms they are steering the situation with intention, not leaving a single thing to fate. They are organizing their life to create space for what they want, clearing obstacles that block the path. This person is actively restructuring their priorities, rearranging their entire daily focus to accommodate this connection. The Chariot says they are moving with discipline, channeling scattered energy into one precise, targeted direction. Their actions in the coming days will be noticeable, distinct shifts in how they communicate and engage. They are done operating from the background. They want their presence felt and intentions fully understood. Now, the Chariot confirms retreat is no longer part of their vocabulary, only advancement and deliberate, visible pursuit. Every obstacle that once slowed them down is being removed, cleared away with urgency and focused precision. What both cards confirm taken together is this person shifting rapidly from indecision into bold, purposeful movement. They are not waiting for permission. They are not waiting for a sign. They have already fully decided. Their next steps will carry real weight, each one calculated to close the gap that has existed here. They are positioning themselves to re-enter this connection, not casually, but with visible, committed effort. Nothing about their approach will feel accidental. Every gesture and word will carry deliberate meaning behind it. The cards confirm movement is imminent, and when they finally act, it will be with unmistakable, clear purpose. So now we arrive at the part they would never say out loud, the confessions buried deep within. This is what lives beneath every guarded word, every measured silence, and every restrained glance they offer. Let us go into it, because what the cards expose is the rawest truth they conceal inside themselves. They carry a secret that weighs more than anything visible, a longing they have swallowed over and over. If they could speak without consequence, without fear of rejection, the words would pour out of them freely. The truth they suppress is enormous and consuming. It occupies the entirety of their hidden inner world. They rehearse confessions inside their head constantly, conversations they long for, but never allow themselves to begin. Every unspoken word sits like a stone in their chest, growing heavier with each passing day of silence. Behind closed doors in the privacy of their thoughts, they have already told you everything 1,000 times. They have imagined your reaction. They have pictured your face, and that image alone moves their pulse. The first card revealing their hidden confession is the Ten of Cups, cutting right to the emotional core. The Ten of Cups represents ultimate fulfillment, and secretly, this person envisions a complete life built with you. They are not daydreaming about something casual, they imagine permanence and deep emotional completion alongside you. This card exposes a desire for partnership, for a home built on devotion and a bond that endures. Their secret wish is waking beside you, building something meaningful that outlasts every trial and every test. They picture quiet mornings, ordinary routines transformed into sacred rituals simply because you exist in them. The mundane becomes magical in their secret vision, every ordinary detail elevated by your presence within it. Their hidden confession is not fleeting infatuation, it is a fully realized vision of a shared forever. They want your laughter filling their space, your warmth woven into the fabric of their most private world. This card confirms they have mentally built a world around you, one they are tender to ever reveal. Admitting this depth of wanting would strip them bare, and that level of exposure moves them deeply. They guard this vision fiercely because losing it to rejection would shake something fundamental inside of them. The next card, uncovering their deepest truth, is the Hierophant, adding a sacred dimension to this confession. The Hierophant represents commitment at the highest level, traditions and bonds that carry lasting spiritual weight. What this person secretly longs for is not just love, it is a covenant transcending all ordinary attachment. They want to belong to you in a way that feels ordained, something destined, written long before now. The Hierophant confirms their hidden desire is legitimacy. They want the world to witness what they feel. The depth of what they long for from you transcends physical longing. It enters something devotional in nature. This is not a secret they carry lightly. It is the heaviest and most defining truth they possess. They want vows. They want declarations. They want the kind of union that anchors their entire existence. The Hierophant says their confession goes beyond romance. It touches something spiritual and deeply transcendent within. They see you as a mirror for their highest self, the one who activates the truest version within. Their unspoken truth is that you are not optional. You are essential, woven into their very blueprint. What both cards expose together is a confession so immense that silence became their only method of survival. They did not withhold these truths from indifference. They withheld them because the magnitude felt too overwhelming. Every suppressed admission has intensified over time, compounding into pressure that can no longer be safely contained. The dam they constructed around this truth is softening, and soon the confession will demand to be spoken. Their deepest unspoken wish is that you already know that you feel it, without them risking everything. They hope their presence alone communicates what their voice cannot, that the unspoken transfers through proximity. What they conceal is not burden alone, it is proof of a devotion that defies all ordinary measure. Their silence has never meant absence of feeling. It is meant in excess, too immense to articulate. The cards confirm a confession trembling just beneath the surface, waiting patiently and tenderly for this moment. Okay, now we close this reading by looking at the near future and the advice coming through. Let us see what the cards show today because this final stretch ties everything together so beautifully. The near future card is the Page of Cups, signaling a tender emotional offering headed your way. This card represents a message of affection, an unexpected gesture that will catch you completely off guard. In the near future, this person will extend something vulnerable and soft, a genuine emotional reach. It may arrive as unexpected words or a gesture loaded with meaning that speaks louder than language. What was hidden will begin surfacing slowly and with raw sincerity, and you will feel the shift clearly. Expect a change in their demeanor, a softening you will notice, and it will feel entirely different. The emotional tide is turning, and what was once guarded will begin flowing openly in your direction. The near future brings raw honesty, a moment where walls soften and real sincerity finally takes over. Now, for the advice, we have Temperance, bringing a beautiful message of patience and divine balance. Temperance advises you to remain steady, to trust the natural rhythm of this connection without forcing. Hold space for what is unfolding. Allow things to align in their own sacred and divinely perfect timing. Do not rush what the universe is orchestrating. Trust that every single piece is falling into its place. Stay grounded in your own worth. Remain open to receiving without ever abandoning your precious inner peace. Temperance confirms that moderation and grace will carry you further than urgency or longing ever could. Trust what you already sense, honor the knowing that lives quietly inside your spirit, and just breathe. Allow the unfolding to happen at its own pace, and watch the pieces arrange themselves beautifully for you. Now, let me bring this full circle by returning to the message that started this entire reading today. The message was, I do not know what you did, but they want no one but you. Every card confirmed that message, validated it from every possible angle, and left no room for doubt. The cards spoke with absolute clarity, and now let me walk you through every confirmation one by one. The Emperor confirmed their total devotion, and the Two of Cups mirrored a bond of rare emotional depth. The Knight of Wands validated tender, devoted longing, a flame aimed entirely in your precise direction. The Nine of Swords acknowledged your exhaustion, the sleepless nights, and the heavy weight of overthinking alone. The Star arrived as reassurance that healing is active and that your hope has never once been misplaced. The Queen of Cups reflected immense emotional depth, your rare, intuitive, and deeply compassionate, beautiful nature. The Moon exposed their confusion, the tender concern, and emotional fog, keeping them from confronting their deepest truth. The Six of Cups revealed deep nostalgia, an emotional attachment rooted in pure memories they forever treasure. The King of Pentacles showed maturity forming beneath the meeting, a deep desire to build something truly permanent. The Ace of Wands confirmed bold initiative, a spark of courage, pushing them toward direct, determined action. The Chariot doubled down on momentum, a refusal to retreat, and a commitment to deliberate and visible pursuit. The Ten of Cups exposed their hidden desire for fulfillment, a secret vision of a complete life together. The Hierophant revealed a longing for sacred commitment, for vows and declarations that carry spiritual weight. The Page of Cups confirmed tender offerings arriving soon, and Temperance advised patience and divine sacred balance. Every card from the first to the last echoed the same undeniable and unwavering truth about this bond. This person wants no one but you, and that wanting runs deeper than anything surface level could explain. The reading spoke with one unified voice, confirming what exists between you is rare and deeply significant. I hope this resonated with you and that it brought the clarity and comfort you truly needed. May this message settle gently into your heart and remind you of how deeply cherished you are. Thank you for being here, for trusting this space, and for allowing these cards to speak for you. Sending you warmth and love today, and I will see you in the very next one very soon.